Hi, this is Ryder, the author of the Bullet Journal Method. And before I get started today, I just wanted to say thank you to the Bullet Journal Method Book Club. Now, this is not my own initiative. This is entirely community-based, and it's incredibly touching to see how engaged you are with the work that I created. So today, I wanted to answer some questions that have popped up in the different community boards across Instagram and Facebook. If you're not part of the Bullet Journal Method Book Club, I will post some links below. So let's get to your questions. Katie G on Instagram asks, what do I wish people knew about bullet journaling? I think that the most important thing about bullet journaling is that it's an incredibly personal methodology. So yes, I provide a foundation from which you can build, but I think it's really important that people realize that your bullet journal needs to reflect your needs only. A lot of times people can get caught up with what they see online, and there's absolutely no problem with your bullet journal being incredibly artistic or really minimal. What's most important is that it's yours. As soon as you start beating yourself up about how your bullet journal looks or what it is or what it isn't, it's a warning sign. It shows that you're bullet journaling as a performance of some kind. It should never be a performance. It should be something that adds value to your life. And the way that it can continue to add value to your life is to make sure that it is serving your purpose. Whatever your challenge or your ambition may be, your bullet journal practice should align with that. Thank you, Katie. Rebecca on Facebook asks, do I need to follow the directions to a T? And the short answer is no, but the longer answer is I would recommend that you stick to it as closely as possible when you're starting out for at least the first 2 or 3 months. You have to understand that I didn't just design the bullet journal one day. It took me decades to come up with the solutions that I finally ended up introducing. And the way that I figured those out is by doing a lot of things that didn't work. So the whole point about the bullet journal as I teach it is that I would like to prevent you from having to see how many things don't work. So I provide a foundation of the things that I found to be the most effective over the longest period of time, and that's really important. Once you're familiar with the basics, then by all means, please make it your own. Our circumstances are very different from one another, and our circumstances actually change over time consistently. So the things that work for you now might not work for you in a couple months or a couple years from now. A big part of the bullet journal method is to continuously evolve your approach so it always adds value to your life. And that's really, I think, the focus of what you should be adding. Only add the tools that bring you closer to the things that you want. Maybe that means making it more artistic because you want to express your creativity, or it's about focusing on a very specific goal. Make sure that when you add things to the bullet journal, it's about focusing on the things that add value. All right, the next question comes from Mrs. Always Plan, and she would like to have a discussion about what I mean by bullet journal puts you at the helm. You learn how to stop reacting and start responding. We're all busy people, and we are short on time, and that usually means that we're short on patience, and we spend a lot of our time just reacting to our circumstances. And when we start reacting to our circumstances, we often react poorly or react in a way that we wish we hadn't. Maybe we're unnecessarily harsh with somebody, or we say something that wasn't well thought out. This is because we're reacting to a situation. So with bullet journaling, it allows you to take a step back and to think about a situation that may be challenging or upsetting or causing you anxiety, to clarify your thoughts. And we'll be investigating some of the different methods later on in the book. The way that you respond can have a massive impact on your direct environment. So when I say it puts you at the helm, it means that you stop being subject to your circumstances and you start to master them. So the next question comes from Mutant Bujo on Instagram, and they are struggling with the mental inventory. They are kind of paralyzed. It can be really hard to take a step back and actually think about the things that you're doing, the things that you should be doing, and the things that you want to be doing. For some of us, that might be the first opportunity you've ever granted yourself to think about these things, and that can be really hard. So if you are struggling with the mental inventory, I invite you to just take it slow. Maybe you take a week to do the mental inventory. Just think it through. You know, there's no pressure or time here. This gives you an opportunity to really declutter your mind in a way that you may not have before. There's no wrong answer here. It's just a matter of taking this opportunity to clear your mind and to write it down, to see it on paper. Thank you for your question, Mutant. The next question comes from Anne from our Facebook group, and while doing the mental inventory, she found that it was really helpful for her to do it again, and she wants to know, how often should you be doing a mental inventory? The point of the book is to present you with a whole bunch of different tools. You don't need to use all of them. You should only be using the ones that provide value to you. Not everybody will find everything valuable, but if you do find something, engage with it as often as is useful. Now, another way to perceive it is that the monthly log is our chance to take a mental inventory every month. The daily log exists to help you declutter your mind in real time, but it functions as a catch-all. The monthly log is there to help you take a step back and actually consider what you want to do in that month, the things that you find important and your priorities. That's why we also do the migration, because the things from the previous month that may end up being simply distractions are left behind, but the things that add value come into the new month. So the short answer is do the mental inventory as often as is useful to you. Otherwise, you can depend on the monthly log to do much of the same legwork. Thank you for your question. La Luna Chacha on Instagram asks, what if I'm getting overwhelmed with the mental inventory? We breached this a little bit before, but maybe you're doing the mental inventory and it's just, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens of items in every list. That's okay, because it's just a first step. The really important second step is that you run it through the filter, right? So once you have all your lists in place, of each item you start asking yourself, is it vital, right? Think rent, taxes, things that you would probably get in trouble for or would be very troublesome in your life if you ignored. Then secondly, does it matter to you or to someone that you care for? And then lastly, what would happen if you just didn't do it? If there's something on your list that has absolutely zero impact on your life, then chances are it's really not that important and you could consider it a distraction. The thing that you're trying to do is reduce your lists to only the things that have a real impact on your life, the things that matter. And as you start looking at that list, that becomes a lot more clear to you, right? Because you'll figure out what you actually want to do, what you need to do, and what you are doing. And those things should align over time as best possible. Of course, we'll always have responsibilities that we don't necessarily want to do, but we'll know why we're doing them, why they're vital, why they matter, why they're important. And if we don't know those things, then we really have to ask ourselves, why are we doing them in the first place? Thank you for your questions. Let me know if you found these answers to be helpful. Again, if you're not part of the Bullet Journal Book Club, I believe they're starting part 2 of the book, so you definitely have plenty of time to jump right in. I'll leave those links below. If you have any more questions for me, also leave them down below. If you enjoyed what you saw today, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and to like this video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks again.